Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The Saints are still looking for a new offensive coordinator. One person they interviewed is a longtime NFL receivers coach, Robert Prince, but Prince has finalized a deal to join the Dallas Cowboys. You probably know that by now. Some of this might sound dated. I apologize if it does, because I was out of town through much of last week. The other name that's popped up, aside from Eric Bieniemy, which is the name that we've all talked about and have talked about, which for some reasons makes sense, right? I mean, if in fact his contract's up in KC, if in fact he wants to maybe separate, to not be in Andy Reid's shadow, if maybe that's the way it's perceived, let him go run his own offense, this would be a really good situation where you essentially have a blank canvas. Now they got to figure out who's going to play quarterback and all that stuff, but Bieniemy makes sense for a lot of those reasons. But the Saints continue to search. And the latest name to pop up is Scottie Montgomery. Scottie Montgomery played his collegiate ball at Duke. He played early 2000s in the NFL, and then jumped into the coaching ranks, and he's actually been credited kind of as a rising star in the coaching profession, but he's already into his early 40s now. Scottie Montgomery's 43. He's 43. So he played at Duke, played in the NFL, and then got into coaching at Duke as the wide receivers coach, and went from Duke wide receivers coach to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's kind of credited with putting together that Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown, Mike Wallace trio and developing those guys. And he was so successful in that role that he left Pittsburgh and became the OC at Duke. So he went from receivers coach with the Steelers to the OC at Duke, and then ultimately kept being promoted there, became the head coach at East Carolina. So now he didn't do well. 3 years, three straight 3-win seasons at East Carolina, and he was fired. Went to Maryland. He was the OC under Mike Locksley in Maryland. And then this year, first season in Indianapolis with the Colts as the running backs coach, where, of course, Jonathan Taylor goes and has this dynamite year. So a guy that's coached college, NFL, coached receivers, running backs, been a coordinator, called plays at multiple spots, been a head coach in college as well. So a young guy at only 43 that's got a ton of experience, both college, NFL, scouting, receivers, running backs, calling plays, checks a ton of boxes if that's the way they want to go. The one negative is, well, you can say he's never been an NFL offensive coordinator. Okay. I mean, if that were the case, you would negate a ton of great potential play calls. I mean, look at Sean McVay. Sean McVay, when he was with Washington, I mean, you got to get your first gig at some point, right? I mean, someone's got to give you the shot at some point. Maybe this is it for Scottie Montgomery. What I would love it if it's Eric Bieniemy for all the reasons we talked about. I think that would be a splash name, a big name on the offensive side, would be attractive to potential free agents. Not to say that Scottie Montgomery wouldn't be that, but I'd like the idea mostly of Dennis Allen saying, I want to bring in my guy. I don't think any coach should be forced to retain people from a previous staff. If you're going to be responsible for wins and losses, then ultimately it comes down to you being able to pick your staff and assemble that, the roster, and having that say. Now, one of the primary reasons that people were pro Dennis Allen was, you have this great culture, you have the staff in place, you have all the structure in place, and you don't need to upset it. Well, he's upsetting it, and that's okay. Not saying that's a bad thing. But remember one of the reasons that many people were pro Dennis Allen. Similarly, though, he deserves the opportunity to go hire his own staff, and maybe it'll be Scottie Montgomery. Again, there's a whole long list of pros of reason this would make sense. The only blemish is he hasn't been an NFL OC, but I don't think that should preclude anybody from getting the job. You got to get your first crack at some point, and maybe this will be it for Scottie Montgomery. We'll keep you posted. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.